This conference will now be recorded.
Yes. Very good evening to everyone present for today's session. I just want to ensure that, again, is my voice audible to all of you? Yes. Thank you so much. Now, yesterday we had done with the concepts of banking, covering various, I mean, I can say topics under that, right? The check deposit, the deposit slips, then your payment advice, bank reconciliation statement. There are so many concepts which we had covered. So if you have worked or if you understood well, it is fine. Otherwise, in case if you have any doubts, you can just let me know. I will clarify it and then I'll move forward to some of the new topics. So are you clear with the banking concept or you are not able to understand any concept? Otherwise, I can step forward to another concept in Tally software. Yes, you can just let me know. Again, I'm asking so that we can just move forward to the other concepts in Tally. So I assume that all of you are clear with the banking concept, right? So next the topic is a very short topic. After that, I move on to a big topic. So what is that short topic is how to create currencies in the Tally software. Okay. So let me share the screen with you first. Okay, so let me, yeah, share the screen. Yes, now what is this currency creation in Tally? By default we have the Indian currency, that is INR, Indian rupee, as the base currency in the Tallyprime software. So whenever we are raising the invoice, right, on the sale of goods, automatically we see that rupee symbol because it is an Indian made software. Now, and the base currency is nothing but INR. Suppose if we have to create any other currency in Tally and use the same, we can do it in the currency creation window. And to create these currencies in the Tally software, we have a coding system which is called as the ASCII code. Okay, so what is that ASCII code? One second. Yes. So basically, it ASCII code. Okay, ASCII code is the system used to create currencies in the Tally software. Okay, and what does this ASCII stands for? It is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, so ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, and here, as I've told you again, base currency is INR, Indian rupees. This is already created by default. So if I try to recreate it again, it will not take. Tally software will not take it. So base currency Indian rupees is already created by default. So other currencies can be created using the ASCII code. Okay, this ASCII code. So for every currency to be created, I'll be giving you the ASCII code. Okay, so let's go ahead. This is a small table I have given. Okay, this is how you can create currencies in Tally software. We can create euros, we can create pounds, we can create yen, we can create dollars, and though we can't create the Indian rupees, but I've given the ASCII code for Indian rupees as well. Okay, so what you're going to do is, I hope all of you have logged into your Tallyprime software. Okay, so open your company books. Make sure you are in the gateway of Tally. Yes, you have to be here. So all of you have logged in, or is anyone logging in now? Shall we start with the correct creation of currencies in Tally software? Are you ready? Otherwise, please log in quickly and make sure you keep your company books open. Yes. Fine. Now, if you are in gateway of Tally screen, excuse me. So if you are in gateway of Tally screen, now there is an option of create. Yes. So go to the create option, and there after groups, ledger, cost category, cost center, you have the option of currency creation. So I hope all of you can see it. In the master creation window, on a list of masters, you have the currency creation which is being put up there. Press enter on that. See, if you see at the top, you will get that. See, currency rupees exists by default for the company. Do you want to alter the currency rupees or create a new one? Okay. So what do I do is, as I've told you, we cannot recreate Indian currency. Okay, we can alter. In the sense, if it is INR, Indian rupees, we can abbreviate it, we can change the name, but we have no rights to recreate the Indian currency. So now we'll go to create new. So you can press enter on create new. Yes, this is the currency creation window. And before I start, let me give you one important tip that, see, if you're working in your laptops, now except the dollar creation. Now let me go back to the table there. See, you can, if you have to create all these three currencies, especially these three currencies, you need to have the numeric pad separately in your laptop. Yes. If you don't have the numeric pad separately, you cannot create these currencies in Tally. Yes. I'll repeat it again. If you have to create euros, pounds, and using this ASCII code, you must have the numeric pad in your laptop. Desktop, there is no issue because desktop by default in keyboard it will always be there, the numeric pad. But in the laptops, some laptops may have, some laptops may not have. So if you are not having, you can't do the first three creations. The remaining two you can try. Dollars you can do it. Indian rupees you can do it, but not allow you to save it. For the first three, you can't do if you don't have the numeric pad. In case if you have numeric pad, you can do it along with me. Okay. So I've told you right now itself. Okay. So let's begin. Now here, what is the first one I've given you? First one I've given is Alt and 0128. So what you have to do is you have the Alt tab right in your keyboard. Keep one finger or keep your thumb on the Alt tab, and in the numeric pad type 0128. I repeat again, keep your thumb on the tab and simultaneously don't release it. Don't release the finger from the Alt tab. Keep your finger on the Alt tab. So simultaneously press 0128 and then release. You get the euros symbol. Okay. So see now how I'm going to do is I'll just keep my finger on the Alt tab in the numeric pad 0128 release, and then I get it as euros. Yes. Can you see here? I got euros. Now press enter. The formal name is euros. You need not give the ISO currency code and all that. This is just in brief I've given you. Coming to the decimal places and all that, by default is always, or after decimal, after two places we can just, in case if you have to round off the nearest figure you can make. Otherwise we can also change to one, or depending upon the number required here. Usually by default it is set as two places, and all the other features are preset. In case if any changes are required, it can be done. But as of now, we can just create the symbol by using the ASCII code and give the formal name for the currency which has been created. Okay, so this is how you can create euros. Have all of you got? In case if you're having the numeric pad, in case if you're not having the numeric pad, not an issue. Yes, the ones who are having, yes. Anyone who is unable to create the currencies. Okay. So add on to the second one. So once you create, Control A. Which is the next one? Alt plus 156, where you can create the pounds. Alt 156 release. You get pounds. Accept, yes. Next. Alt plus 157. It is yen. Alt plus, like you can try the dollars actually in case you don't have the numeric pad. Shift key and the four, yeah, dollars. Shift four. What I've given here, right? Four pad. You have to use the horizontal where you have all the keys, the special characters. So all the numerals with the special characters that you can use. If you use a numeric, it will not come. This is the opposite of the others. Shift tab four together. You have what I require, the Indian rupees. Let's see what happens. It will not pass. It says name already exists. You have no rights to create it again. Okay. So this is how it will come. Name already exists. Enter a different name. Okay. But I just shown you because you was curious asking for the Indian currency. Control and 4 together. Shift and 4 is Control and 4 is Indian rupees. You show whatever currencies you have created, you can see the option. I know all kinds of foreign exchange based export transactions, export transactions, which has been outsourced by the Reserve Bank of India. So that we can keep on updating here in case if you have the export transactions, export based. Okay. Okay. So where you can observe that what happens with the why you couldn't create? You don't have the numeric pad, or having a numeric pad you are unable to create it. If you don't have the numeric pad, you can't create. You can try with the dollars. If you have a numeric pad, I can show you again. Shruti Narayan. Okay. So you have to respond in case you have to resolve your issues. Right. So when it comes to the exchange, here if you see about date for the rate of exchange is being given. So per day or daily basis we can update the rates. Okay. So like this is how your currency creation plays a crucial role. Okay. So yes. After currencies creation, tally software. What is the next thing we're going to see? We're going to discuss about the TDs. Okay. So what kind of a tax is TDs? So what is the full form of TDs basically? In case anyone has an idea about it. We abbreviate the TDs. So what is the TDs? And what you do the abbreviation? Is my voice audible now? Yes, can anyone confirm? Is my voice audible now? Okay. Because you should confirm, otherwise I will not have a clarity that am I audible to you or not. Okay. So I hope the screen is also visible at your end. One second, give me a second. Yeah. Yes. So now, yeah, coming to TDS. Now we are discussing the concept of TDS now in the Tally software. How does it activation goes? Okay, and we will have a very short discussion about the TDS. So TDS basically stands for tax deducted at source. Okay, so let me continue with this. So TDS basically stands for tax deducted at source. TDS is what kind of a tax? It is it is a direct tax. Indirect tax is your GST. It is a direct tax. Okay, and yes, now the transactions which are subject to TDS, okay, how okay, they are limited in the sense we have an exhaustive list, a finite list of entries on which TDS is applicable. I'll show you the list shortly now. So it is not like okay, you're going to make any purchase or sales, you're going to earn any income, you're subject to TDS. Nothing of that sort. We have a list of transactions for which the TDS would be applicable. Okay, so we have two divisions. One we have TDS on salaries, one we have TDS on other expenses. Okay, so your TDS on salaries, you know that of course monthly or the income we earn based on the income we earn accordingly, checking out the income tax slabs. Okay, if our income is taxable, it will be subject to TDS every month. Will have a reduction, and by the end of the financial year, we are going to pay the tax and file the returns accordingly. Suppose if it is not crossing the threshold limit, then there is a clarity that we are not going to have a TDS reduction and we are not going to pay the tax. We can also file nil returns even though we are not subject to TDS. That is one thing. And most important, okay, now coming to the TDS, okay, which are all the transactions, which are all the entries which are subject to TDS. Okay, now why, before I show you that, why it is called as tax deducted at the source. Now, if I take the example of salary itself, okay, now when it comes to salary, before the income is payable to me, okay, before the income is payable to an employee, you can take my example itself. Before the income, the salary is payable to me. If my salary is subject to TDS, after the salary is credited to my account, it is mine. After that, they can't claim the TDS deduction. Before the salary is credited to my bank account, a small percentage of tax is deducted, or a small percentage of amount is deducted at a certain rate, which is called as the TDS every month. And by the end of the financial year, as I've told you, within the dates, okay, so we have to prescribe dates, we have to pay the tax, and we have to file the ITRs. So you know that July, August, September, all these are very heavy months, for ITR filing. So that time, if you can visit any, almost all the CE offices will be completely held up at that point of time, in the filing of the income tax returns. So This was what, so why it is called as at the source means before the income is credited to the employee, at the source, at that stage only we have the tax being deducted. In the same way, if I talk about the other expenses other than salaries, example like rent or any kind of an investment where it is subject to TDS, before the income is receivable or the expenses are payable, okay, TDS will be deducted and then the remaining is paid. If it is income, okay, if that much is deductible and then it will be received. So in this way, we will have the TDS deduction taking place. So let me discuss with you the entries which are subject to TDS. It is all in the 190 series section. You have 192, 193, 194. So the list goes on. But as I've told you, it is an exhaustive list. Okay? It is not an infinite list. Rather, it is an exhaustive list of entries that are subject to TDS. Okay? So let me go for it. Okay, so here we have it. Let me give you a. Yes. This is the recent one I've shown you. Assessment year 24 and 25. Financial year is 23 and 24 because they've not come to the end of the financial year. It's still 23 and 24 itself. Still 1.5 months is left. Okay. So then we bring an end to the financial year. Okay. Yes. So here you are seeing the list of entries which are subject to TDS. Yes. Yes. So now we can see here. Yes, these are the different various transactions. Accordingly, we have the section list also. So first comes is the salaries. The salaries is always on the slabs, your IT slabs, income tax slabs, where for the citizens, for the senior citizens, for the super senior citizens, you have slabs defined accordingly. So, but the basic threshold limit is up to 2.5 lakh, there is no tax. Beyond 2.5 lakh, the income tax rates shall be assigned. Okay, so after that we have 192A where we have, suppose if we are withdrawing, there is a voluntary withdrawal of the provident fund from our EPF account and it is more than 50, up to 50, not an issue. More than 50 means 10% TDS will be deducted. Suppose if it is 193, there is a TDS on interest earned on shares, securities, other marketable investments. More than 10 means just 10% TDS. Next is any kind of distribution of dividends. Okay, 5,000, the TDS rate is 10%. So what you're seeing above, we have for individual or HUF because rates will not be the same for both. Usually 80% yes, but 20% there will be difference. For individual or Hindu underwear family, it is one rate, and for the others means company. If the deductor is company or any kind of firms, okay, for them the rates are different. Partnership firms, companies, or any kind of joint stocks or any kind of company-oriented, corporate-based, it is others. Individual means the rates are different. And next we have this interest from banks or post offices. Suppose any amount is being deposited, FDs, usually in banks or post offices on deposits, up to 40, not an issue, but then 40, then 50 for senior citizens, 10% is the TDS reduction. Then interest from other sources other than marketable securities, up to 5, beyond 5 and above, of course we have 10%. Then suppose if there are winnings from the lottery tickets, of course now lottery is banned in case if it is available there in any of the places, then obviously this 10,000 is the limit. And any kind of puzzles or games. So if you observe there is a TDS reduction of 30%. Okay, and any kind of an online game, there is no limit, but if you just check out the TDS rate there, it is 30% what is being put up. Okay, so like this, we have the rates. Now, see again, I just scrolled down. Winnings from horse races, turf clubs, right? So, what is the limit is 10,000. So, how much TDS is available? 30%. And what is section here? It is 194 BB. And payments made to contractors or subcontractors one time. Okay. So again, the amount is threshold limit is 30,000. One person for the individuals. Suppose if it is a company base, it is 2%, and payment made to contractors upon an aggregate basis. If it is a single contract, it is 30,000. If it is an aggregate contract, a lump sum contract, then it is 1 lakh is the limit. Next is commission paid on insurance sales to domestic companies. In that case, it is 15,000. For of course, for individuals, it won't be there because it's insurance sales. For companies, it is 10%. For non-domestic, in case if it is an individual, include an LIC agent, then 15,000 at 5%. Then, if the LIC policy is being matured and the amount is up to 1 lakh, not an issue. More than 1 lakh means 5% TDS would be deducted. Payments received from the NSS scheme, National Savings Scheme, by the individuals, 2,500, and of course TDS is 10%. In case if any UTI, unit trust of any mutual funds has been purchased, there is a 20% TDS. So as I've told you, all they come under 190 C's section. Okay. Then we have is commission or brokerage fees. Okay, 15,000 is the limit. 5% is the threshold limit. Again, in case if any, I think you would have seen in almost every place, commercial space for rent. If it is for residential purposes, the treatment is different in writing. If it is for commercial space, up to 2.4 lakhs rent, no problem. But if it is exceeding beyond 2.4 lakhs, that it is subject to TDS of around 10%. Plant and machinery, the same threshold limit, but TDS is 2%. Then payment for the transfer of immovable property excluding agricultural land, 50 lakh is the limit, and 1% is the TDS value. So like this, if you observe here, this is the table, the list of entries which are subject to TDS. Apart from these entries, you don't find any other entries which are subject to TDS. That's why I told that it is an exhaustive list, limited entries. Okay. Then again you have the interest payment and infrastructure bonds to non-resident NRIs, 5% TDS. Then distribution of incomes by business trust to its unit holders, interest payment on rupee-denominated bonds, municipal debt, and government securities. Then payments made for contracts, brokerage, commission, professional fees. It's 50 lakh. Cash withdrawal exceeding a specified amount from the bank with filed ITR. So what is the amount is 100 lakhs. Okay, so 1 crore. Okay, 2% TDS. Again, cash withdrawal from bank without filing ITR, it is 20 lakhs. Okay, so again we have, suppose if we are making any purchase of goods, and before that, yes, amount received for the sale of products or services by e-commerce service providers to digital platforms. What are these e-commerce operators? Snapdeal, Amazon, Flipkart. Yes, if you have sold any products or provide any services online through an e-commerce operator, okay, up to 5 lakh, no problem. Beyond 5 lakh and above 1% TDS will be subject to. Suppose if there is any purchase of goods, okay, up to 50 lakh, no TDS, 50 lakh and above 0.1% TDS, then TDS of payment of cryptocurrencies or other virtual assets, 1% TDS, and TDS applicability in case of there is no PAN. Usually, if you go to the banks, usually in usual cases, suppose if I don't have the PAN, if I'm having the PAN card, they say it is a 10% TDS reduction, the normal rate. There is no PAN card, they will tell that it is a double deduction. 20 becomes. Okay. So 20% is the standard rate which is applicable so far. 10% with PAN number. Without PAN card, it is a double reduction. And TDS on non-filers of ITRs, of course, the higher of 5% twice the rate mentioned in the provision or the current applicable rate. Okay, whichever is higher. So if you observe the 190 series and sub 206AB, these are all the list of entries for which the TDS is applicable. Okay, this is a very important case. Yes. So we'll take any one of the cases where practically let me show you how it goes about. Let me take the example of payment of rent for land, building, or furniture. 194. Okay, I'll just hold on to that. Okay, I'll give you a classic example for the same. But before that, let's see how we can activate TDS in Tally Prime. Okay, so all of you, if you can come back to the gateway of Tally screen, I will let you know how to activate the TDS in Tally. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to press F11. If you press F11, you will be in the company features screen, and there, one second. Can you see here you have a feature as enable TDS on the right hand side. After GST, you have the TDS there. Make sure you activate it as yes. All of you are able to locate it. In the company features screen on the right hand side under taxation, you have enabled TDS. All of you are able to locate it. Yes. So under taxation, you have enabled TDS. Make sure you yes. Okay, once you do, make it as yes, press enter. Yes, this is the company TDS deductor details. Okay, so here you have to fill up the details. Okay, now usually we have PAN card. PAN stands for permanent account number. But what number does the company have? They will have TAN. Okay, so I'll give you the difference between PAN and TAN first, and then we will fill up these details. Okay, in the meanwhile, you can just take a break of 5 minutes and then I'll resume the session. Okay. Yes, which step should you want me to repeat it? Is it TDS activation or which one?
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
not yet done
TDS
the.
activation.
Yeah. No, I'm not yet activated. No, I'll activate it. But before that, I'll just discuss. I'll give you the clarity between the PAN and the PAN, and then I'll start activating it. Oh, the this one you're talking. Go to F11, Shruti. Company features. Just press F11 PAN. You'll be in the
Yes, ma'am.
company features screen. There on the right hand side under taxation, once again. Yes. On the right hand side, see here, I've put up towards your right under taxation under GST, you have enabled TDSC, tax deducted at the source. It will be, you have to make it as yes. Have you got it?
I'm not
Because
finding this F11 option there.
F11 bar, FN, F11 you press together. In few laptops,
Okay.
if you do only F11, it will work. Most of the laptops, FN and F11 together. Company features. F12, no, F12 is configured. F11. So you have displayed the screen and I've also highlighted where you have to activate it.
Okay, ma'am.
Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now when you press enter, you'll be in this screen. Company, TDS, deducted details. This I'll explain you in detail, but before that, as I've told you, let me explain you the difference between TAN and PAN. So I'm getting back to this. See, now all of us have the PAN number, correct? So PAN stands for what? PAN stands for permanent account number. Yes. So PAN stands for permanent account number. Okay. Now PAN is issued to individuals. HUF. Okay, actually, even companies also. But let me give you a clarity. For companies, it is for the GST registration they issue PAN. It is not for the income tax. Income tax PAN is no way related. It is for GST. So I'll repeat again. PAN stands for permanent account number. PAN is issued to the individuals like you and me for all of us, as well as Hindu undivided families, as well as for companies. Specifically, why the PAN is issued for companies is, as I've told you when I was talking about GST, that if any company or entity has to obtain registration in India under GST, they must have the PAN card. If they don't have the PAN number, they can't obtain registration under GST. Okay, so it is mandate. Okay, in case if it is any foreign establishment which has to be set up in India, means that the procedure is different because we can't expect the PAN number from them, right? So PAN is an Indian document. So based on the other documents which is attested by a proper officer, they can get registered in India. If not, no. But when it comes to the Indian companies, PAN number is mandate. Okay. So PAN is issued to individuals. What is the other one? Other clarity. PAN is how many digits? PAN is a 10-digit alphanumeric character. Alphanumeric character. Okay, it's a 10-digit alphanumeric character. Now, now suppose let's say if we have the example of PAN number like this. I'm just giving IUM somewhat like this, right? So how it will be is 5 alpha, 4 numbers, 1 alpha. It will be like this: 5 alpha, first 5 alphabets, 4 numbers, and then 1 alpha. This is how the PAN number is defined. 541. 5 alpha, 4 numbers, 1 alpha. This was of the PAN discussion in short. And see, if we have to pay the income tax, file the ITRs, we have to open a bank account, any kind of procedures is there. Okay, we have to obtain a passport, Aadhaar card, everywhere the document asked is PAN card. PAN card is available, PAN card is there, show me the PAN card, give me the photocopy of the PAN card. So, how we have to quote the PAN number in every document or in every process where it is required, in the same way, companies for the income tax purpose they need to have the TAN. So, what does the TAN basically stands for? TAN stands for tax deduction and collection account number. Okay, so TAN stands for tax deduction and collection account number, and this TAN is issued to companies. We will not have the TAN number, only the companies will have. TAN is issued to companies, firms, yes. So the other business entities. So they will be having the TAN number. So when I talk about the companies, partnership firms, all these cases, they will have both actually. They will have PAN and TAN. Why PAN? If they have to obtain a registration and a GST, TAN for the IT purposes, income tax purposes. Okay, and this TAN is how many digits basically? TAN is also a 10-digit alphanumeric character. Okay, so how does the TAN look like? We say both are 10 digits, so what is the difference between the both? Differences I've given you already format wise. So read the same. So what is the difference between the both? If I talk about the PAN, it is 5 alpha, 4 numbers, 1 alpha. But if I talk about the TAN, it is 4 alpha, 5 numbers, and 1 alpha. So in case of PAN, it is 5, 4, 1. In case of TAN, it is 4, 5, and 1. 4 alpha, 5 numbers, and 1 alpha. So this is the basic difference between the PAN and the TAN number. Okay, so so whenever the TDS details are being put up, you have to code the TAN, and most important, before the TAN number is issued by the department, a registration number is issued, and then a TAN number is issued. Even the registration number is a mix of alpha and numeric both. Okay, so this is the basic difference between TAN number and PAN number. Hope this is clear for all of you. So let me go back now, okay, and then go for the TAN registration. So I'll just give you a, yeah, somewhat like this. You get the registration, a 12-digit number, enter. Now you quote the TAN number. I've just quoted sample A B C D or A B D E 2, 4, 5 and 1. And what is deducted type? Deducted type, obviously, what kind of a, now basically what is the deductor and the deductee? Okay, if I talk about the deductor and the deductee, deductor is the entity, company or the entity deducting TDS. Then who is the deductee? Individual from whom, it could be even a company also, from whom the TDS is being deducted. So the entity which is deducting TDS is a deductor. Deductee is from whom the TDS is being deducted, from the salary, from the income, or from the expenses payable. That person or the entity is defined as deductee. Okay. So here deductor, I'll take it as company. Press enter. What is this deductor branch or deductor division? Deductor branch or division is nothing but jurisdiction. Now, if I take Bangalore, Bangalore zone 1, zone 2, zonal wise, and Bangalore South zone 1, like that. Zonal wise, all these things happen. It's not like area or something like that. It is mainly zonal wise, there will be the jurisdiction. So here I'll give it as Bangalore South. Set down all the details of persons responsible. What is this? Which person is responsible here? The head of the entity, the head of the company. Yes, his details are to be given here. The person who is heading the organization, the person who is heading the institute, the company, his details are to be given here. So moment I activate it as yes. Wow. So what is this? Person responsible details. Now, before I give the person responsible details, can you see below? We have the flat number, name of the premises, road, street or the lane, area, location, city, state, pin code, mobile number, everything has been updated. Now, I never updated all these things. Now only open the TDS screen. So, how did this information come up here? Simple. So the flat number, the mobile number, telephone number, all this what you're saying is not the address and the details of the person who's heading the organization. It is the organization's or the company's details. So, above what you see, the name, son or daughter of designation and the PAN, that we have to give of the chairman, of the CEO, or of the person who is heading and who is responsible for the same. If I talk about the flat number, name of the building, road, street, area, town, state, pin code, mobile number, all these are of the company's. Okay, so here I'll give the details. Say, for example, the person is Kiran Kumar, designation, founder and the director, his PAN number. Now, here, yeah, I give the name, the son, daughter of designation, founder and director. So, PAN number of his I have to give, or according to you of the companies is what I have to give here. What is your decision? What is your option? Now here it is being given as PAN. I told you that this PAN card is required. Now, if I talk about the TDS, here PAN should I give of the director or the PAN I should give of the organization? Yes, what will be your reply? The PAN number should be of the organization or PAN number of Kiran Kumar. So whose PAN number should come here? Of NICT or of Kiran Kumar? NICT is a company's name or of Kiran Kumar. I want the response from you. Yes. The PAN number of the C, PAN number of the organization. What will I do if I give the PAN number of the person responsible? The first three details is PAN number of the organization. Okay. So there I give the TAN, here I give the PAN. It will come like this. Why? Because it will give, or if it see the PAN number, the fourth character of the PAN must contain any one of the alphabets. But even if you use the right alphabets also, it will give you a caution because we're not entering a genuine number here. But here the PAN number, what you're giving is the entity's PAN number, not of the founder and the director. Okay. So once you finish off this, you can just press Ctrl A. I'll just give the STD code here 080. Here you need not go for this. Ignore IT exemption limit for TDS deduction. Make sure it is no. Activate TDS for stock items as no. So hope you are done with these details. If you're still working, let me know. I'll pause here. If you're done, I'll press Control. Are you still working on the same? I'll just leave for 2 minutes. I'll just get back here. Yeah. This is the main screen. So now Control A. Again, press Control A to further save it. Yes. So this is how we go for TDS activation, the Tally software. So hope it's clear for all of you. Now I'll just pass a small entry, basic entry for TDS, so that you get a clarity of the same. Okay. Now here, yes, yes. Now Now I told that we're taking the example of rental here. What is that? The rent paid for land, building, or furniture. Again, repeat it. Usually we have commercial space for rent it will be given. So what is the monthly rent? Okay, how much rent has been paid for that commercial space? If it is crossing about 2.4 lakh, then of course we'll have the TDS deduction. Otherwise, we will not have the TDS deduction. Okay, 2.4 lakh is the annual rent what is being paid. Is that clear? So see, rent paid for land, if it is annual up to 2.4 lakh, not an issue. If it is exceeding, then 10% is deducted. Okay, so now I'll give you an example for the same. So, our is company is liable to pay rent of rupees 2,80,000 annually. So give it as yearly to Lotus Towers. So Lotus Towers is the one second. Lotus Towers towards the building, towards the commercial space taken on rent. Since the rent payable exceeds, since the rent payable exceeds the threshold in the sense the basic exemption limit, threshold limit, it will be subject to increase. At what rate? At the rate of 10%. So see, company that is we NICT with the company which we are running, we have to pay rent of how much? 2.8 lakh annually. Okay, to Lotus Towers. So in Lotus Towers, in that commercial complex, we are on a rental basis. So Lotus Towers. So towards the commercial space taken on rent. Now we have taken the space for rent, and that space belongs to Lotus Towers. And what is the amount of rent which is being paid annually? It is 2.8 lakhs. Okay, so since up it is exceeding the threshold limit. Now up to 2.4 lakhs there is no rent. I mean, so there is no TDS. Okay, if you observe here, up to 2.4 lakhs, there is no TDS. If it is exceeding 2.4 lakhs and above, it will be subject to 10% TDS. So, in our case, annually only we are paying rent of 2.8 lakhs, so it is subject to 10% TDS. So, since the rent payable exceeds the threshold limit, it will be subject to TDS at the rate of 10%. Now, this case, how will you crack? How will you go for the TDS reduction before the complete rent is payable to notice terms? Okay, so let me give the breakup for you. What is step one? Step one is we have to create TDS nature of payment. Okay, we have to create the TDS nature of payment. Step two, we have to create the ledgers. Which are those ledgers? Okay, first is the party ledger, which is the party to whom we have to pay the TDS. That is, Lotus to whom we have to pay the rent after deducting TDS. Lotus Towers. Okay, so we have to create three ledgers. First, we have to create the party ledger. Any in any order you can create it, but one of them is the party ledger. Party is which party? To whom the rent is payable by us. Now the rent is payable to Lotus Towers, who is the owner, who is the person who owns that particular space, Lotus Towers. So we have to pay rent in the name of Lotus Towers. So we have to create the party ledger. Second, okay, TDS ledger. Sorry, expenses ledger. What is that expense for which we are paying, making a payment of rent, rental expenses? Okay, the third ledger is TDS on expenses ledger. So, what is the ledger name? TDS on rental expenses. So, like this, what is the first ledger? Party ledger. This is the second ledger. This is the third ledger. So, you have to create three ledgers here. First is the party, second is the expense, third is TDS on expenses ledger. Okay. What is step 3? Once I create the ledger, what is the next step? Step 3 is pass the TDS entry in journal voucher. I've told you very long back that journal voucher is an adjustment voucher in Tally. So for all kinds of adjustment entries, including the tax payment, the payable entries, all types of these types of entries are will be recorded in journal voucher. So past TDS entry in journal voucher. So what is the function key for journal voucher? It is F7. Okay. And what is step 4? Step 4 is once we pass the entry, okay, it is a payable, and then settle the rent payable to Lotus Towers, settle the rent payable to Lotus Towers after TDS deduction. Yes. So we have 4 steps. Okay. So let's go for the first one. So first is coming back to the gateway of Tally. We are going to go to the create option. Now under create option, straight we will head to the statutory masters. Statutory masters, you have GST registration, you have GST classification, and the last you have is TDS and nature of payment. Press enter on that. Yeah, you'll be the TDS nature of payment. So here, see I've given the table here, right? In the same way you have to create it here. Rent paid for land, comma building or furniture. Rent paid Rent paid for land, comma, building, furniture. Enter. What is the section of what is the section for that? It is 194I. Sorry, 194I. Yes. It is 194I. Next. Payment code, remittance code. It is 94I. Payment code is 94I. Remittance code is when we are remitting the TDS to the government. Sorry. That time we have the remittance code. See, the section is 194I. Payment code is nothing but when we are remitting, I mean, payment is paying for that particular head of expenses, that is rental expenses. What is this? A remittance code is when we are remitting the TDS payment to the government, we are using the TDS challan, the tax challan. So that code will be generated automatically. We need not give the code here. You can just leave it blank. Press enter. So what is the rate applicable for the individuals with the PAN? I've already told you the rate applicable for rental is 10%. If you can observe it, this with the PAN number. So just type as 10. Press enter. Again for the other company, other deductive type means for the companies. See, I'll just show you here. Others, again it is 10%. Okay, the amount is the same. Next, so what is the threshold limit? 2.4 lakhs. Which means what? If the annual rent payable is not exceeding 2.4 lakhs, it is not subject to TDS. If it is exceeding 2.4 lakh and above, it will be subject to TDS reduction. So here we are paying rent annually to Lotus Towers amounting to 2.8 lakhs. So it is subject to TDS. Henceforth, we are recording a TDS entry for the same. Okay. So this is the first step we want to take for TDS entry. First is TDS nature of payment. Okay, so please fill up the details if you have not done. Then we'll go for the second step where we can create all the three ledgers. I hope it is done. Accept yes. So we have come to the first step. What is the second step I've given you? We have to create the ledgers. The first one, party ledger. So I'll go back to the create option now. Come back to the gateway of Tally and then go to the create option. Press enter on the create option. go to ledger, and here first is notice terms, sundry creditors, because it is payable. We are not receiving the rent from notice terms. We have to pay the rent. So sundry creditors, same procedure. Maintain balances bill by bill, yes. Come straight down. STDS deductible, yes. Deductee type. Now notice towers is a company resident. So just mark it as a company resident. So we have to be very careful when we are deciding the nature here. Whether it is an individual, it is a company, it is a government, it is a partnership firm, if it is a resident, non-resident matters the most. Because based on that only you have the tax identification done correctly. So deductee type, you can consider company resident. Okay, press enter. Deduct TDS in the same voucher, yes. Now address and pin code we can update it even the other way later. Most important, don't forget to give the PAN, because if you forget the PAN, what happens? It will go for a double deduction of TDS. So here the same procedure. Provide PAN details. Yes. Don't make any changes here. Press enter. GST registration I'm not entering here. I'm just focusing on the TDS part, giving the PAN number and the activation of the same. So make sure you put up the ledger for notice terms. I hope it is done. So press Ctrl A if you're done with this. Next. So what is the next ledger? It is expenses ledger. The second one is the expenses ledger. So rental expenses comes under indirect expenses. Don't activate the cost center. GST you can turn down, make it as not applicable. That's it. We have one more. You have set or alter other statutory details. Make sure it is yes. TDS you have to activate here. So name is rental expenses under the group of indirect expenses. Type of ledger not applicable. Cost center is no. GST not applicable. Set or alter other statutory details. Make sure it is yes. Here you have to activate TDS. Is TDS applicable? Absolutely yes. Nature of payment, rent paid for, land, building or furniture and furniture. Right. That's it. Accept, yes. Next, TDS on rental expenses under the group of duties and taxes comes under TDS, rent paid for, land, building and furniture. There you go. Accept, yes. Accept, yes. Okay. So once we create all the three ledgers, what is the next step? We have to pass the voucher. Okay. So we'll go to vouchers. We are going to go to F7. Nothing but journal voucher. Okay. So how would the entry appear is, see, your journal entry in Tally for the TDS. Now the total rent payable is how much? It is 2.8 lakh. Okay. So it is payable to Lotus Towers, right? So debit, what are you paying? Rental expenses. The total amount comes up to 2.8 lakhs, out of which actually we are paying how much? We are deducting TDS and then we are going to pay the remaining amount here. And this is the TDS subtraction, what you're going to see. TDS on rental expenses. Okay. So in this format only you will see the entry. The total rent payable to Lotus Towers is 2.8 lakhs. Post TDS deduction, what is the net amount payable to Lotus Towers and what is the TDS amount which is being subtracted or deducted from the rent payable to Lotus Towers. This I will show you practically in the Tally software. Okay. So debit is rental expenses. So what is total amount? It is 2.8 lakhs. Press enter. You come to the credit aspect. Press enter. Yes, so here you have to select the party ledger, Lotus Towers. Okay, and see here, it will automatically take it as a new reference because I've already told you a couple of times in journal voucher we don't make any payments. It is always a payable entry which we put up in journals. We never pay, neither we receive in journal. It's always the payment voucher and receipt voucher. In journal, we don't make the actual payment. We don't have the actual receipt. It is only payables and receivables we enter, and by default, okay, for such entry, automatically Tally will select as a new reference. So please don't make any changes there. So just press enter. Name you can give it as Lotus Towers. That is important. Due date, actually by the end of the year, we pay the tax and file returns. You can give it as the 31st of March. Okay, but it'll take the other way, 364 days. So I can just give it as, that will be a better thing. Because here it is scheduled as April in your Tally software. So otherwise, in the trial version, you just leave it as blank, not an issue. Why? Because it is taking as April. So April, then it will be March. So it will not take the other side. It will take 1 year ahead. So press enter, enter. Yes. New reference again. Again, you pick up as Lotus Towers. Okay. This is 28,000. What you're watching is 10% TDS reduction. So at the bottom, if you observe, see it is showing that 2,52,000 is the total amount payable to Lotus Towers post TDS deduction. So 2.8 lakh was the annual rent, of which 10% TDS is deducted. So the remaining amount payable to Lotus Towers for the commercial space taken on a rent is 2.52 lakhs. So 2.2 lakh 52,000. So if I continue with the breakup here, so the amount is payable to Lotus Towers is 2.52, 2 lakh 52,000. So what is the TDS amount here? Enter 28,000. This is the way it comes. Okay, so same we will see in Tally software. Enter, enter. You come to the end of list. Again, you have a credit option. TDS on rental expenses. Yes. So this is the way you have the final breakdown. Total rent payable 2.8, less TDS 28. Remaining amount to be paid notice hours is 2,52,000. So what is the narration I'm going to put up is the rent payable to notice towers subject to TDS at the rate of 10%. Okay, subject TDS reduction at the rate of 10%. So enter, accept, yes. So then finally we have the settlement of notice towers, yes, which we have here. Settles the rent payable notice towers after TDS reduction. Now the net amount we have to make the payment, right? So for that we are going to go to the payment voucher, which is your F5. Okay. So there usually how do you put up the payment entry? We debit the party ledger, credit with the cash out. Suppose if you're paying by cash, credit cash. Suppose if you're paying by bank, credit bank. Okay. So also you can check your cash and bank. I already told you. You can go to Alt G, go to cash or bank book, and you can check your cash and bank balance. I think in your case, we'll assume that ICICI Bank is the what do you say? Axis Bank also both as companies' bank accounts. So I'll consider here any one of them, either Axis Bank or other ICICI Bank, through which I'm going to clear the payment of notice towers. Okay, so debit notice towers automatically tally will take up as against reference because against the pending bill payable to notice towers, it will show us against reference here. So press enter. So automatically it comes up as 2,52,000. Okay. So don't make any changes here. Just press enter, enter, end of list. So credit. So I'll take up as ICICI 2,52,000. So check. I'll give the check number here. Suppose you have chosen the Axis Bank, automatically take the check number. Okay. So here the check number is being rent paid subject to deduction of TDS at the rate of 10% for the financial. For financial year, we have not come to an end. So just give it as for the financial year. Enter, accept this. Enter. This is how we bring it into a TDS entry. Okay. Okay, so I've just given the set the rent payable to sellers after TDS deduction. So hope it is clear for all of you, right? In case if you have any doubts, let me know. So in the last 5 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, we can I can resolve your doubts. So I hope all of you are clear, right? Saturday you're having your exams. So tomorrow will be your last session. So Saturday, what is the last? The payment entry you're talking about, Shruti? Payment Lotus Towers.
Yes, ma'am.
See, if I talk about the payment, if we delete it, now you have to clear the bill of Lotus Towers, right? So now TDS of 10% has to be deducted from the total rent payable to Lotus Towers by us, by the company. So already we have put up the journal voucher, calculating the total rent payable in that 10% of TDS reduction. So net amount payable Lotus Towers is 2.52. Okay, 2.52 lakhs. Now that we have to settle using the payment voucher. So what you have to do is you're going to press F5 payment voucher. So as usual, how you have been doing contra payment receipt during the earlier sessions of mine, what are we doing? We are going to debit the expense ledger, the party ledger, okay, marking the payment. So here we have to clear the rent to whom? We have to pay the rent to whom? We have to pay rent to Lotus Towers. So you have to select Lotus Towers here. Automatically Tally will show the bill-wise details against reference. Why against references? Because we've already marked the rent payable to Lotus Towers using the journal voucher. That rent is payable, not yet paid to Lotus Towers, as since it is subject to TDS reduction. So when I'm going to the payment voucher, automatically against the bill what is being tagged in the journal voucher, here we are settling the bill of Lotus Towers. So it will be against reference. At what point of time against reference is used? To clear the pending bills. I've discussed the types of bill in the earlier sessions. Against reference is the bill which we use to clear the pending bills, to settle the bills. So against reference, press enter. So automatically it will show you the pending bill screen that 2.52 lakhs is what we have to pay to Lotus Towers post TDS deduction, net TDS deduction. So I don't make any changes here. I just press enter, 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 end of list, come to the main screen. So I have the credit aspect prompting. Again I press enter. Yes. I select the bank through which I have to clear the payment. Here I select ICICI Bank because I'm having two banks here, corporate, I mean company bank was ICICI. One more we have is this Axis Bank. Okay. Now Axis Bank also, suppose if I consider Axis Bank, which you've created for the banking aspect. See. So press enter. See here if you observe it automatically take it as check number because we are assigned the check range, right? So if ICICI Bank means it will not find this. So press enter, enter. Yes. Thank you, the donation is being rent paid. Net TDS. Net means after deducting TDS at the rate of 10%. Okay. For FY
Yes, ma'am.
financial year.
Understood.
Is this clear, Shruti?
Yeah, ma'am. Understood.
Yeah, okay. Accept, yes. This marks the end of your TDS entry. So any other doubts you're having apart from rupees? I think all is clear. All of you are clear with the entry? Okay, fine. So we bring an end to the session. So we'll meet up tomorrow for the session. Again, Saturday. I hope you know that we'll be having your exams on Saturday. So tomorrow will be your last session. In case if you have any doubts, anything you want to be cleared, my session will be there. I'll be discussing about the reports and few small topics. Okay. So in case if you have any doubts, anything you want to clear from your side, you can let me know in the tomorrow session. Okay. So be there at 6 o'clock, 6 to 8 session. Okay, so meet you up tomorrow. Thank you.